If you just tuned in, you're watching World Insight. To everybody else, welcome back to our last story. Thanks for staying with us. More than 700 million voters, 800,000 polling stations, 4,000 candidates, and 4 weeks long. It is, of course, the Indian general elections that can justifiably be called a world wonder. The main battles between the federal ruling Congress party and the BJP party. But India has seen the meteoric rise of one woman. Mayawati from the untouchable caste is now defying convention and has a real shot at becoming India's new Prime Minister.
She's proof that almost anything can happen in the world's biggest democracy. Mayawati is Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, a political hotbed in this election. And she's vowed to lead her Bahujan Samaj party to a nationwide victory.
Like our state, this time we will not let Congress and the BJP and their supporting parties come to power at the center.
The ruling Congress party played the song Jai Ho from Slumdog Millionaire in their ads. But Jai Ho, or Be Victorious, didn't bring victory in the polls. The election was close. The Bharatiya Janata Party, or BJP, is a strong contender. Their Baya Ho commercial, which translates to Let There Be Fear, countered the Congress commercials on all major networks. For Mayawati and her BSP, the song might be Let There Be Victory.
Though India's elections are hard to predict, many polls show neither of the two main parties can get a majority. This has given regional and caste-based parties, particularly Mayawati's, additional power as they negotiate to join alliances.
Mayawati's campaign has profited from India's political splintering. The leader says the price of her support to form a ruling coalition will be the premiership. But sheer ambition doesn't make Mayawati stand out. It's her caste. Mayawati was born as a Dalit, or an untouchable, the lowest caste of India's complex caste system.
The caste system developed in ancient India labeled people from their births into four main castes. At the top of the caste system were the Brahmin, the priests, teachers and judges. Next came the Kshatriya, the warrior caste. The Vaisya caste was the merchants, and the Sudras were craft workers and laborers. The untouchables were the outcasts, or people beyond the caste system. A scavenger's son could only be a scavenger in a timeless continuum. Upward mobility, or its exact opposite, was only possible in the next life.
Caste barriers have mostly broken down in large cities, though they persist in rural areas of the country even today.
Jitendra, the landlord, belongs to the warriors caste, the second most important caste of Indian society. Manju, Sandosh and Mahez are the servants of Jitendra's household. They are the untouchables, the impure, the outcasts. That's why they do the work predestined by their caste. They clean excrement, human and animal.
वो गंदे भी हैं और वो छोटे भी हैं. हम बड़ी जात के, वो छोटी जात के. मतलब इन लोगों ने हम कैसे इन्हें कर जान देंगे? नहीं, काम करो, पैसा दिया अपने पास.
और काम का मजदूरी नौकरी नहीं है, क्या करें? इसलिए करना पड़ता, पेट भरना पड़ता. अनाज मिलता है, खाना भी मिलता, अनाज मिलता.
Manju, like the rest of the Dalits, was marked since birth as impure and subhuman. They are the lowest of the low according to their religion, and this has predestined their lives, from which very few have escaped. They do the dirtiest work there is, they will never have any property. Their children, if they go to school, will sit in the back rows, separate from the rest.
और भैंस मर जाती है, गांव में एक दलित मर जाता है किसी वजह से, तो आपको अफसोस अपनी भैंस का होगा या गांव के दलित के मरने का होगा?
तो पैसे देते हैं, दूसरा ले लेंगे, उसे मर जाने से क्या कम, भैंस का मरना कम है।
The Dalits live with the fear of public humiliation. Even walking through an upper caste neighbourhood could endanger their lives. It's estimated every day 2 Dalits are murdered, 3 Dalit women are raped, and 2 houses are burned by members of the upper castes.
Even in this election, many of the underprivileged low caste believe they may not be able to vote free from intimidation.
We go to cast our votes, but when we reach the booth, we aren't allowed to cast our vote and are forcefully pushed to leave.
Among the Dalits, Mayawati is an exception. Thanks to government policies that favour the low castes, Mayawati managed to earn multiple degrees, including a BA in education and a law degree. She worked as a teacher in Delhi before entering the political arena. The 53-year-old leader has made her name by skillfully navigating the country's political maelstrom. Now she portrays herself as a defender of the low castes.
Here I want to tell you that our party favors reservation for the poor section from the upper class on the basis of economic criteria.
On average, the Dalits make about 15% of the population in nearly every state. No politician can ignore these voters. And naturally, Mayawati has great popularity among them. The mere fact that the Dalit is under discussion for Prime Minister reflects the huge change sweeping India this decade.
Right before the first phase of the polls on April the 14th, India celebrated the 118th anniversary of the birth of Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar on the street near the Parliament. Under his pen, the Constitution gives equal rights to all individuals regardless of caste. Ambedkar is considered a spiritual leader to the low castes, and to some, so is Mayawati. They used the occasion to shore up support for her.
Or it may be possible that Mayawati may be President of India, may be President or Prime Minister of India.
But Mayawati is far from optimistic. She has climbed the ladder up to a plateau. Her base of Dalit votes cannot carry her very much further. Now the so-called Queen of the Dalits needs to win over the upper castes to become a pan-Indian leader.
In its 4,000 years, India has never had a Dalit ruler. The caste system made even the thought very impossible. But could this now change, and is Mayawati the one to make that change? With that, we come to the end of this edition of World Insight. Of course, we'd love to hear from you, so send in your emails, your comments and your suggestions to the address up on your screen. I'm James Chow in Beijing. From me and my colleagues, thanks very much for watching us here. See you at the same time next week for your insight on World Insight.